Hi, this is Enid Headley Searles, and I watch CultureShare every Saturday. I'd like you to join me because there's quite a bit on that for you to see. You'll be surprised.
Mi movimiento cuando canto. Tienes que enseñarme el ritmo de los pesos. Un peso en cada bolsillo, 10 en el de atrás, 15 en la camisa. Conmigo te vas, aquí en el cinturón, póngame un bello. Si quieres, mamita, te voy a enseñar. 15 dólares, 5, 10, 15 dólares, 5, 10, 15 dólares, 5, 10, 15 dólares. Dice que no siente el ritmo, hay que cambiar el tempo, pero como ella se mueve, la castigaré. 5, 10, 15 dólares, 5, 10, 15 dólares, 5, 10, 15 dólares, 5, 10, 15 dólares. Yo pensé que no podía.
The music of KC and the International Band doing the Spanish version of the very popular Dollar Wine. I am Harold PYSADEE, and it's always a pleasure to welcome you to CultureShare. You know, this month is Black History Month, and we'll be talking to a Caribbean lady who visited one of the African countries, and she has a lot to tell us about her travels. We'll also be talking to another Caribbean lady who is a prominent leader in the African American community in the USA. We'll also be having great entertainment for you. And we begin the action with a man we ended the program with last week with just a little touch of some of his action. We're going to begin with him now with a video that's making a lot of waves in Trinidad and Tobago for Carnival 1992. He's the Sugar Canes with the Caribbean Party. Get with it!
Like
up and dance. Come on and dance. Get up and dance. Now dance. One more time.
Yeah, you can actually feel the Caribbean pepper pot in that one. From the Sugar Canes on the Charlo's record label doing his Caribbean party, a video that was exclusively done by G.B.T.V. We take a tap in our bags. Right, gentle?
Right.
Okay, great. We want to remind you too that the rest of the winners of the tickets for the Valentine's show will be contacted right after the program. So you see, we haven't forgotten you. And of course, we'll be telling you who are the winners of the questions we asked you last week. Remember, we asked you 3 questions last week. We got a lot of letters, and we have the winners. We'll be announcing them for you a little later on. Right now, it's time for some old talk. And one of the big old talkers in the Caribbean is none other than a guy who goes by the name of Sprangalang. Well, I know a guy in Grenada who goes by the name of Sprangalang also. He's a guy by the name of Lord Titus on the national radio. But this is the Trinity Rangalang, the old talk man Sprangalang. We caught him live at the Golden Pavilion in his usual manner. Sprangy?
All you alright? Alright, I want to tell all you something. I have 2 pieces of advice they sent from Trinidad for me to tell you. The first one I go do when I start here, and the bottom one I go do when I done there. Right. The first one is, good living is not long life. I want all you to know this. Good living is not long life. And my grandmother tell me, tell all you this just so before we get into comedy and thing, tell all you this. So I go tell all you. Go, hush your mouth, girl. But where she get this mouth from? That looking like a New York mouth, girl. I see one of that on Fullerton, and a man was going through North Stand on the left by your jaw teeth. Hush your mouth. We could open a furniture place with fridge in the back. Hush your mouth. Yeah. So I'm going to give all you the advice. The first advice my granny tell me, carry up to all the West Indians in New York that good living is not long life. Hear what she tell me. She tell me, jackass working hard on the farm all the time. Jackass toting the load, he bringing the load, they dressing him up, and he doing anything. All of a sudden, about the 25th of November, they bring a hog. They put a hog on the farm and they let him run in loose and tell him, jackass, go bring your thing. Hog start to gallery. Hog say, jackass are looking for cake. Bring cake. Jackass told the cake. Jackass say, hog, I'm warning you. Good living is not easy. Like you say, jackass, you ain't no cake, you know. You eat here and hush. I is to eat cake. Hog eat the cake. He said, jackass, I want something to carry down. Jackass say, what you want? He said, I want sweet drink. He said, don't frighten. He gone for sweet drink. Hog say, jackass, but you really had to work. Jackass only kick in his ears and say, Hog, good living is not long life. Hog get meddle with that. Hog say, jackass, bring thing. So jackass bringing thing and hog eating, and he getting fat and thing. About the 23rd of December, jackass come down with a pot of water and they hot it. Hog say, jackass, what happening there? He said, don't frighten, we're making a little thing. He said, jackass, make sure you hot it good, put in all your seasoning because I want to drink that. Jackass said, don't frighten, Hog, but I warn you, good living is not long life. He said, don't frighten. At about the 24th of December, they pelt the last one Hog. Hog started about, oh, jackass, jackass, jackass. They make us house with Hog. So I want all you to know that good living it's not easy life, all you West Indians in America here. So I come with the warning from Granny. Let me talk about me. Now, they just call me Cultural Sprangalang, and they find Cultural too long, so they call me Sprangalang. But let me tell you something, me I really like this show business thing. Me I like the on-stage thing. I wanted to be a barman. In my first days, I was a barman and I did going good. But let me tell you what caused me to be on stage here. A night I walking in a bar and no handman come. He say, bartender, I say yes. He say, you're busy? I say no. He say, look in my shirt pocket, you go see $20, take out money for 5 beers and put them on the counter. Me fix up because that is my work. He said, open them. I open cow, 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 cow. He said, put them to my mouth. I put them, laga, 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 laga. He drink all 5 beers. He said, bartender, you're busy? I said, no. He said, look in my next shirt pocket. You go see your next $20. Give me 5 more beers. I said, all right. 5 beers. He said, open them. I said, right. He said, you're busy? I said, no. He drink them, laga, 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 laga. And he gone. I said, thank God. So I'm going down nice. About 20 minutes later, he said, bartender. I say, yes. He said, you're busy? I said, no. He said, I want to go to the toilet. I say, I'm busy. I'm not taking that walk. I ain't lifting up nothing heavy tonight. Not me. That is how I come on stage here. I know they can't tell me nothing. I could answer them. You understand what I'm saying? No. Let me warn everybody. When you're in show business in Trinidad, you could dead from starvation. You could dead from starvation. Yes, darling. You ain't had time to learn English when you see you starving. You could dead from starvation. And I, as a man, when you hear this starvation, hook me and the gas pain here, heartburn here, and when I yawn, the scene cobweb in my mouth, I say I go kill myself. I say suicide. So I'm going by the seaside to commit suicide. I see a tree hanging over. Well, I buy my rope. I buy my soft candle so it won't squeak. And I say, I look for a big stone, put it below me, I jump on the tree, I put my thing, I kick off the big stone and a tongue hang out, I dead. quietly, I gone in a beach when nobody has seen me. Well, boy, when I stand up on the stone, all I had to do is kick the stone. I look behind a tree, so I see a man peeping at me. I say, Mr. Gentleman, what's your story? He said, don't study me, you go ahead. I go on back up again, but I find he peeping and he anxious, like if he waiting for me to dead. I say, what's your story? I jump back off. I go on and tell him, he naked. Him a naked behind a tree waiting for me to dead. I say, what is your story? He say, boy, you want to see a naked? Go and kill yourself now, waiting on your clothes. So I tell him, hear this. When I decide he's suffering more than me, it's not to dead, it's not to kill myself, I'm going higher up. Well, boy, I do the art for 2 years again, no money come, no starvation set in, my ribs showing, you could play guitar on my ribs. My aunt wash all she daughter clothes on my ribs, joking board, I said, trouble. I'm going and kill myself this time. But I'm going and kill myself by a river, I ain't telling nobody. When I over the river so and I'm going and hang myself, I see a no-hand man jumping up in the river. I say, but I have all my hand, all my foot. Look how he happy and he hand, no hand. I say, let me go and discuss a matter with him. I come down, I go on down, I say, hey, I was going and kill myself, but when I see you jumping up, I say, better I ain't kill myself the way how you happy. The no-hand man tell me happy is scratcher trying to scratch me back.
I mean, that's the kind of guy you would laugh whether you want to laugh or not. Sprangalang, live there with a whole batch of old talk, and we promise you that we'll be bringing Sprangalang back on CultureShare with much more of that action. We have a very special lady who will be appearing on CultureShare. She's a Caribbean lady and a prominent Caribbean woman in the African-American community. We'll be talking to her right after these messages. On November the 5th, history was made in New York when the 40th district that was created for the councilmatic elections was won by a lady, a Caribbean-American, Una Clark. That was an historic day. She came up against the odds, so much so that it effected a recount after Carl Andrews was declared the winner. But the lady, the gutsy lady she is, decided that I ain't taking it so. And there was a recount and she was declared the winner. Yes. Una Clark, it has been a few months now. Let me say welcome to CultureShare.
Thank you so much for having me.
You all smiled. Seem as though that you have been enjoying your workings among the people you so dearly love in the community.
Yes. Yes, I do. And since January 1st, I've been really just getting the program together, making sure those things that I promised during my campaign, that I can deliver on them. And so I'm really putting a program together that I think that the community mandated and that I think I can deliver on.
The 40th district, which includes places like Flatbush, we have Crown Heights, Ditmas Park, Prospect and stuff. They incorporated African Americans, Caribbean Americans, and I know that the Haitians made up quite a big chunk of the electorate, and that you've been, you know, very touched by the refugee situation. We just understood that quite a number of them were sent back to Haiti. I know that you have some deep feelings about that.
I am really angered by what has taken place, because I know that if the Haitians were coming from another region, they would not have been allowed to go home. First of all, we all recognize that they are here because the president whom they elected democratically was taken out of the country, that the United States have the power and the ability to have him reinstated, inasmuch as they rescued the president of Russia when he was to be deposed, that could happen in Haiti. And therefore, I am really outraged by it.
Another development is the situation at the St. Mark's Episcopal Church, where the Canon Heron Sam, the Reverend, has come in for some very stiff allegations from Bishop Walker, and that has stirred up the emotions among the congregation, and the situation was brought into court. you also made some comments about that, something that also touched you very deeply.
Yes, because the church has a long standing in the community. Reverend Sam has given many years of very, very hard service to that congregation. And I really think that the way in which the information got to the public was unethical in many, many ways. I had a chance to speak briefly with the bishop, and we will be, you know, because it is in litigation, I am not going to, you know, talk on the merits of it, but I've offered myself to be a mediator because my constituents are all also touched by it. I have many letters from members of the congregation who live in my district. I'm also an Episcopalian, so I understand the canons of the church and really feel that we need to have a negotiated settlement and that it shouldn't have gone that far. And I'm standing ready to be one of those persons to act as a healer in the church and definitely as a mediator to try to bring together both Canon Sam and the bishop so that this can be settled in an amicable way.
We read a lot about Councilwoman of the 40th District, Una Clark, big title. But sometimes we, you know, I think we really have not come to grips with actually what are your duties in that position.
And if I have any power, huh?
All right, good. If you're a powerhouse or not.
Yeah, you know, the council have much more power than it had in the past. It is a balance to the mayor. As a legislative side, and now really have heavy legislative duties and responsibility. We will pass on the mayor's budget. We now have responsibility over land use and land in the districts. But basically what a council person does is to deliver to the community services that are provided by the city, to pass laws that make it workable for all of the residents of the city, and to stay on issues that are important to the betterment of the city, including quality of life issues, whether it's environmental things, whether it has to do with the potholes, the light, the rent increases, those kinds of things.
I remember when you were campaigning for your seat, one of the primary topics that you were mentioning is that you would be very concerned about primary education. What strides have you made in that vein since taking office? Okay,
I have been working very hard, putting the pieces together so that I can be effective. First, today I met with members of the Board of Education, the UFT, some research people to put together what I am considering to be a transitional institute for immigrant students, especially those coming from the Caribbean, so that they will be first properly evaluated, that teachers will get a sense of the students prior to their being placed in a classroom, and that their parents will get some initial orientation towards school and schooling in the United States. And we feel that that will assist the students to have a better transition to school, plus they can be better placed in their classroom, because as you know here, students are placed based on their ages rather than their academic standing, as we do in the Caribbean in particular. So I'm really going to be trying to work on the cutting edge as an educator myself to make sure that something can happen to move our students forward. We're targeting District 17 because it is the larger of the 3 school districts that are in the 40th district. And that's a large population of immigrant students with whom the schools are really trying to do something but are not getting anywhere.
That's what areas actually?
It will take East Flatbush, Crown Heights, and a number of our students from 17 also get bused into District 22 and into 18. So we really want to bring the school officials together to take a real good look at how we can really move our students forward.
Speaking of education, I'm thinking now of the situation at the Medgar College, where 80% of the student population is Caribbean American or Caribbean. The faculty, not much of a Caribbean American origin, and so there have been some problems with the president making comments, not you know, not interpreted in the best manner, and so lots of people are unhappy. The situation is grave. The curriculum is not in the best interest of the students. I've been reading. You have also said that it's a situation that concerns you, and you're looking at it. What's the latest position?
Okay, I have, with other Caribbean American leaders, met with the president. We expressed our concern for the remarks that were made, and we are satisfied in a sense that he did not mean any harm in the expression that was made, one. And number two, that he is making a good faith effort to reorganize the college so that it can respond to the needs of the student population, which would include the Caribbean American students. We're still looking not so much at him, but at people around him and people in the college who have always demonstrated and acted as though they were anti-Caribbean American.
Councilwoman Una Clark on CultureShare. Now, we do realize that the interview has been a little long, and some of you might be saying, well, we need some music, we need some action. But actually, she made history in this Black History Month, the first black woman to be elected to the 40th district in Brooklyn, and a very important lady and a very vibrant lady in the community. And we'll be bringing her back again next week for the second part of that interview, where she'll be touching on some deep topics that touch the hearts of black people, African Americans, and I'm sure you'd like to hear us speak on those topics. Una Clark again on CultureShare. We'll be right back after this. Time for some action on stage now as we zoom in on the Mahalia Jackson Junior High and catch up on the Carrium Dance Company in action live. Nice one, Athalie. I love you. That's Athalie doing the solo performance, coming towards the end of that production. And the gentleman doing the solo thing at the beginning was Dennis Maitland. All members of the Carrium Dance Company captured live at the Mahalia Jackson Junior High at the Grenada Independence celebrations. Now it's winners' time. The winners of the questions we asked last week, we had 3 questions. Lots of people wrote in, but we just had to select 3 winners. The questions, the first one was, who was the leader of the Haitian Revolution against the French in the 18th century? Who was the leader of the Haitian Revolution against the French in the 18th century? Well, the answer is Toussaint Louverture. That's Toussaint Louverture. And the winner is Yves Judy of Brooklyn. That's Yves Judy of Brooklyn, the winner of that question. Congrats, Yves. The second question, Sylvester Lockhart is the birth name of a famous Calypsonian. Who is that Calypsonian? Sylvester Lockhart, the birth name of a popular Calypsonian. Who is that Calypsonian? Well, he is the poser, Calypsonian poser. And the winner of that question, Jaswick Nurse of St. Albans, New York. That's Jaswick Nurse of St. Albans, New York. And the third and final question last week, who is the Minister of Sport in the Trinidad and Tobago government? The Minister of Sport in the Trinidad and Tobago government? Well, the answer is ace Caribbean netballer former. That's Jean Pair. Jean Pair. And the winner of that question, Elizabeth Philogene of Hempstead, New York. That's Elizabeth Philogene of Hempstead, New York. All of you lucky people, you'll be hearing from CultureShare during the course of the week. And we'll be telling you about your grand prize. That's the record you all have won. We move on with more action on CultureShare now. We have a next group by the name of Universal Spectrum. It's led by a guy from Nevis. His name is Richard Blend. He is a steel panist, a keyboard player, a saxophonist, you name him. They are based in Detroit, but they came to Brooklyn to be captured on CultureShare. Here they are doing something called Ooh La La.
Quite impressed me as you do, Shirley. I walk a million miles just to see your lovely smile. I hold you in my arms, my Shirley, baby. 'Cause you're christened that feeling, they got me yearning. Ooh, la la la. Ooh, la 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 la. Ooh, la la la. Ooh, la 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 la. My Shirley, oh, my Shirley, I could never love another. No need to look any further. 'Cause all I ever want is right here with me. I'll pay whatever price, and I'll make the compromise to keep you here with me, Shirley, baby. 'Cause your love is so amazing. That's what my heart will always sing. Ooh, la la la. Ooh, la 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 la. Ooh, la la la. Ooh, la 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 la. My Shirley, oh, my Shirley.
Searching all around this world just to find me one special girl. My dream came true when I met you. One heartbeat, it's me and you.
Ooh, la la la. Ooh, la 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 la. Ooh, la la la. Ooh, la 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 la.
Many have come, but you were chosen. 'Cause when I met you, I saw heaven. Your style, your smile just drives me wild. Radiance and beauty simply captures me.
Ooh, la la la. Ooh.
Loving you, girl, is all I know, and I'll break my back just to let it show. My love for you is forever true. My heart will always yearn for you. Ooh, la la la. Ooh, la 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 la. Ooh, la la la. Ooh, la 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 la. My Shirley. I've been around the world, I've seen the prettiest of girls, but none have quite impressed me as you do. Shirley, I walk a million miles just to see your lovely smile. I hold you in my arms, Shirley, baby, 'cause you christened that feeling, you got me yearning. Ooh, la la la. Ooh, la 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 la. Ooh, la la la. Ooh, la 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 la. My Shirley. My Shirley. All the things you did to me, everything you are, I wanna keep you here with me, keep you where you are, my Shirley. My Shirley.
Universal Spectrum, ooh, la la la. We'll be back. We did mention that this month is Black History Month, and a noted Caribbean lady from Trinidad made a visit to Egypt, one of the African countries, and has some startling revelations for us. But first, look. A quick look at Egypt. Joycelyn Alexander on January 24th came back from Egypt after her visit. She dropped in at the CultureShare studios and I took the opportunity to speak with her, and I first asked her what she had to tell black people about her visit.
First of all, I'm going to say do not expect to see desert and camel, as a lot of people painted the picture. That's what you expect to see when you get to Egypt. First of all, a lot of our people do not know that Egypt is in Africa, so let's make it clear. Egypt is in Africa, and Egypt is alive and well. It's very informative, there's a lot of information. First of all, civilization started from the Nile in Egypt. And there are two things that really, well, first of all, I was very proud because I learned so much of the history, the culture, and everything was documented so that I can see. But again, on the other hand, it made me very angry. And angry because the history was distorted. The European, and it is safe to say because I did not write history, it is written to see how it was distorted by them. Mainly, they fail to realize or to accept that black people is so, what should I say, knowledgeable to be able to present art in the form and fashion that it has been presented for over 4,000 years. They broke the noses off some of the statues, the mouth off to distort the African features, because black people are not supposed to be so intelligent to know how to do these things. For a good example is Nefertiti, that so many people have been wearing Nefertiti on a chain, and she has this sharp European features. By the way, there are Africans with also sharp features, but they present Nefertiti to have sharp features, straight nose, very thin lips, when in fact Nefertiti, as presented on the wall that is engraved by the Egyptian over 4,000 years ago, to have full lips, high cheekbone, and round eyes, and also curly hair, or kinky hair as they would say.
I mean, that's a very forceful comment you're making. So what you're actually saying is that the European history, as we know it, has been a big lie?
You can quote me absolutely correct. And that what made me very angry, because not only did they destroy, they even take chisel and chisel the stomach of most of the statues, the faces, and I can call names. Why? Because they left their trademark as though to take credit as though they did it. When I say they did it, not destroy it, but they were the one that is the creator of all this. And it is Alexander, the so-called great. I don't know how great in what form they mean. Napoleon, and it's another British. I do not recall his name at the moment, but it's all written, it's all documented, because they carved their names into the walls. And they also set fire into some of the tombs, and the smoke just went up, and the soot is all on the ceiling, and now as the soot is falling off, you can see the gold lining and the beauty of all the antiquities and the way everything was all carved into the wall by the Egyptian.
So, I mean, what you're saying then is that when a black man goes to school to learn history, he's taught European history.
Yes.
So what you're saying, he is actually being brainwashed.
Absolutely correct.
By the white man's curriculum?
Absolutely correct.
So then where are we going?
Nowhere. And the truth is written. You just cannot believe everything you read or even see on TV. When I said it is written, it all depends on who it's written by. It's a good idea, though, to read from different authors and compare. But there's no substitute for experience if you can afford to take that trip, which it could become made affordable so that everyone can go. See for yourself, the writing is on the wall. I was there, I took my own video, I took my own still, and I'm making it a study. And what I'm doing now, I wish I had done it 25 years ago.
Technically speaking, not everybody would be able to go to Egypt to see for themselves. On your visit to Egypt, I mean, did you see anything, or were there people down there who were trying to record in the form of picture? I mean, you did some video shots, but you're only one person. But were there people doing something that would benefit black people so that they can come to places like America, the Caribbean, or wherever to educate the black people as to actually what's happening?
Well, first of all, I must say, I'll back a little when you said most of them maybe cannot afford. I believe anyone can do anything they want to do if they really want to do it. We spend a lot of money each day on soda pop, on potato chips, and a whole lot of other things that I don't even want to mention. And if you budget yourself and you put a little aside, and you check different tours, and you compare, and you save, you can do it.
Joycelyn Alexander talking about her trip to Egypt. She'll be back again next week as part of Black History Month to tell us more about that visit to Africa. We also want to take this opportunity to wish a Calypsonian, an artiste, a pan man from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dan Simon, a speedy recovery. You see, that's it. He's been hospitalized for quite some time now and should be out sometime over the weekend. CultureShare wants to wish you all the best, Dan. Get well soon. And we want to remind all of the Grenadian entertainers that the Grenadian Entertainment League will be having the meeting tomorrow at Ralph's Hideaway, and that meeting begins at 4:30, and we're asking all the Grenadian entertainers to be there. That's it for CultureShare this week. Don't forget to join us next week for another super show. Till then, be good to yourself. We'll leave you with the music of Codric Forbes from St. Vincent, and later.
To teach them how to jam. Party to party, we on a mission, looking for some action. Be prepared for this posse, cause it's party, party, party. We come out for action, any kind of action. Come to show emotion, any kind of action. Come to boogie down. For action, any kind of action, come to show emotion.